Welcome back to the Gamehouse Overwatch League recap. Today we're talking Thursday night as we take a look at its 3 matchups. The first match of the night was between the first and third place teams of Stage 1, the London Spitfire and the Houston Outlaws. The teams squared off at Hanamura, with both teams prepared for a brawl. The Outlaws notably did not start with Jake, which may have struck many as a surprise seeing how his dominance was highlighted throughout Stage 1. Both teams fought hard to grab 3 points each, but when it came down to deciding the winner, London managed to hold a strong defense, keeping the Outlaws from grabbing a 4th point, making their attack run a breeze. On Nepal, we saw the return of Jake to the Outlaws lineup after a 1-map loss. The Outlaws took a commanding lead by grabbing the first point at the shrine, while also experiencing no deaths. They weren't able to continue that luck in the village, however, with the Spitfire forcing their way to grabbing point 2. The last control point was an explosion of battle, with the Outlaws managing to grab the Sanctum and tie up the game 1-1. The third map of the night was a visit to the Spitfire's motherland at King's Row. The Outlaws were able to quickly grab 3 points, thanks to a rare appearance from Spree on a signature Zarya. The Spitfire were able to grab 3 points as well, but not nearly as easily as their opponent. When it came to deciding the winner, it fell to the Outlaws, with their strong attack that garnered them a 4th point and the lead. With the Stage 1 champions falling behind in the match, Route 66 was a crucial fight. With the Outlaws coming off a relatively easy win, the Spitfire gave them a run for their money, reminding audiences of their position on the Overwatch League food chain. Because of an ironclad defense from London, Houston was only able to push the payload to the first point. This made the Spitfire's offensive run a cakewalk, and tying the game up again with a 5th map on the horizon. The tiebreaker map for these 2 contenders took place on a familiar one, Ilios. The game style was control, and like previously in the match, the Outlaws were able to grab both points first. The Dynasty were not satisfied to let them keep the points, however, and fought fiercely to steal the points away at crucial moments. The Outlaws proved to have the upper hand, however, and ended up with both points, winning the match 3-2. The second match of the night was between the Stage 2 runner-up, the New York Excelsior, and a team with a revamped roster, the Florida Mayhem. The first map took place on Hanamura, with the Mayhem not showing signs of any new players quite yet. With the Excelsior having a strong track record of dominance, the Mayhem put up a great performance as well. When the Excelsior grabbed 2 points, the Mayhem followed suit. This repeated once until both teams had 4 points. The Excelsior had that edge, however, and held the Mayhem off of any more points, and grabbing 1 more in the map win for themselves. Map 2 was a return to Lijiang Tower. This control map saw another fairly even grabbing of points. New York was able to grab point A early on, and after a few stumbles managed to grab the point. Florida was able to mimic this performance and grab the 2nd point for themselves. It came down to an exciting battle for the last point that ended in overtime, with both teams at 99% that decided the winner. The Mayhem ended victorious thanks to great teamwork and some masterful work from Tavik as Genji. King's Row saw the scales beginning to tip in the Excelsior's favor as the top-ranked team pulled off a no-nonsense win. The map saw the Excelsior pull off a successful 3-point attack run and demonstrate an impressive defensive strategy against the Mayhem. The Mayhem were only able to take 2 points and therefore fell behind in the match. Gibraltar was a map of demonstrated dominance for the Excelsior, with their performance a much greater echo of the last map. They pulled off another successful attack run, with Salbiobi dealing a massive amount of damage as Tracer, and pushed the Mayhem back to only 1 point. The Excelsior ended up taking the last map and the match 3-1. The last match of Thursday night took place between the Boston Uprising and the Philadelphia Fusion. Map 1 was once again Hanamura, and it was the first time we had a chance to see both teams adjusting to the new metagame. It proved to be a bit of a struggle for the Uprising right off the bat, with them facing fierce opposition in taking point A and struggling to take point B, which they ultimately lost. The Fusion, however, managed to take both points rather swiftly, setting the tone for the rest of the match. Lijiang Tower was the location for Map 2, which was control. The Fusion grabbed point A fairly quickly, but the Uprising snatched it for themselves and pulled off a great defense. The 2nd point started fairly similar to the first, but instead of a straight path to victory, the Uprising ended up losing the point to the Fusion, who then in turn took point B. The last point saw a lot of back and forth, but it seemed that the night was starting to look a lot like a Fusion night, with the Philadelphia winning the map. Hollywood was the map where the Uprising had a chance to turn the night around and attempt a reverse sweep. They proved their determination in their attack run, where they captured all 3 points thanks to performances like Dream Casper's infamous Genji. The Fusion were just as determined, however, with their run, and they managed to tie things up 3-3. In the fight for more points, the Fusion were victorious and squashed the Uprising's comeback dreams. The final map of Thursday night was on Gibraltar. While the results of the match were already determined, there still stood a chance for an exciting map. Both teams clearly were ready and willing to fulfill that chance, as this map was another close battle sorted out in a tie-breaking round. Both teams were able to pull out a map completion, with all 3 points claimed. It was in the subsequent runs that the Fusion pulled out a complete match sweep by winning 5 points to 4. Thanks for watching the Game Haus Overwatch League recap. You can find us on Facebook and Twitter, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button. As always, from our house to yours, keep it here with the Game Haus for all your sports and esports needs.